I know you kind of found out about your invitation last minute. What was that like for you?
Well, I knew like at the end of the season, I found out. I mean, it was like a dream come true. I worked hard all season, tried to get a shot to come here. Finally got the shot, and now I'm out here amongst the best, and it's feeling good so far. First practice went good. They threw a lot of stuff at us as far as offense play wise, but getting it down and getting in the rhythm of things and settling down, trying to be myself.
What was it like working with the Redskins coaches out there?
It was great. I mean, growing up and watching, a team like that over the years and finally being able to get coached by, I mean, it's truly an honor, soaking up everything day by day.
Yeah. And how do you think, you're coming from a spread offense, how do you think that'll translate to the pros?
Well, some teams like simulating spread into their system and, spreading out the defense and try to make them run side to side. I translate over well with that because, being in the spread offense for 4 or 5 years, it's going to pay dividends.
Right, exactly. What do you think you'll be mostly a slot receiver in the pros, or do you think you'll be able to line up out wide as well?
I'll probably be mostly inside, outside. It depends on what team gets me and what system they have. I can play both outside and inside, and I make the best of my opportunity.
Are there any players that you really look up to and think that your game translates well, like theirs?
Well, I look up to Deshaun Jackson. We're similar frame-wise and athletic ability. I look up to him. He's out there doing good and blowing past defenders. It gives me confidence that I can do the same thing, and I know I can do it once I get up there.
What do you think your biggest strength is as a player?
My biggest strength is speed and quickness, and stretch the field, make big plays, and just going the distance.
Yeah. And what kind of improvements do you think you'll have to make?
Well, as far as got to get a little stronger. Use my hands to get up press man and jams, and just I say being more physical,
Yeah. And coming from I wouldn't say smaller school, but smaller conference, what was it like to go up against some of the best competition?
Yeah, it makes me up my game, knowing that the next guy is equally talented, or coming from a bigger conference. It does my game, and it makes me want to compete harder, work.
Seems like you were one of the most sure-handed receivers out there today. Is that something you really work on, catching the ball away from your body and securing it?
We do that before practice. We do ball drills, catching and hand-eye coordination stuff before we go out there to practice and do a walkthrough. I feel like I'm pretty good at catching, and that's one of my strong points.
Right, exactly. Once the combine rolls around, and I know you're talking to some pro teams right now, but when they're asking you questions like why should we draft you as a player, what kind of answer do you think you'll give?
Yeah, I tell them I'm a hard worker. I'm come in, I do anything and everything in my power to help the team win. I'm not a selfish player. Whatever is asked of me to do, I'll do it. Just to better the team.